Okay, so it's the 2nd of October today. Got 12 days left in Canada. So the pressure is actually starting to build up now. I've been reading a lot more into the theory of how to write scripts and how to sort of finalise storyboards. It's coming together quite nicely now. One of the interesting things that I'm actually probably going to have to now cope with is the shipping forecast has actually predicted snow for tonight. It'll be interesting because when it snows in Canada, it snows 5-6 feet of snow overnight. Might make things interesting. If it does snow, the problem I've got is that I don't have any warm clothes here, really. I've got a couple of hoodies. And I just have to wear every single piece of clothing I've got. And the problem is, all I've got is shorts. That might also pose a bit of an issue. Okay, so today what I've been doing is I've been going through the storyboard. Each line, I've finalised the first line more or less to a draftable point of view. I'm just sort of relaying out all of the index cards to a more professional, readable format, so I can now move onwards and start thinking about other aspects of different parts of the story. Actually doing this part of the vlog today from inside the cabin, actually inside of it, because it's getting very, very cold in my office and there's no heating in there either. You get a nice view of that. Check that out. Keeping the whole cabin warm. In winter, I'm told that this lake completely freezes solid. You know, meters of ice deep. And that lake is the size of the United Kingdom. So if you remember yesterday, these cards were all up on this top line, with all the extra notes on them, everything that I needed to remember, everything that I thought about. They can now go away. So I've rewritten every single card. So I'll put the emotional change in the corner of each of them, character colours, and that line is more or less, you know, right now it's more or less finished. One thing that I love about this board is that it lays out your story, it lays out every idea that you've got in your head. And you can really clearly see when you have black spots, sort of holes that don't link the story together or bits that don't move on to the next bit. You know, they just sort of sit there staring at you, just sort of day by day, hour by hour. You better sit there and what's wrong, Danny? You can't figure it out. Got a little story problem. And then you can see it and you can fix it. I mean, right now, this entire point here is just a big black hole. Yeah, I've got the end point in place, but all of that is just awful, really. I'm just going to do this. Start again on the point 3. I've got the end in place. I like the end. The end is good. My biggest problem now is that now I've got Act 1 kind of in a reasonable state that I'm happy with. I want to get writing the script, but I can't. Because Act 1 has to fit with Act 3. Act 3 has to answer all the questions that were stated in Act 1. So the character needs to have changed from the introduction view of Jack, and the character needs to have changed when it hits the end. I think I have hit a little of a block today. I'm not really being that creative. All I'm thinking about now is just a little bit of organisation, so I'm just procrastinating. Getting different colours up on that board, changing it around, moving things around, making things look nicer. Not really what I should be doing now. Now when time's against me, but it makes it easier for me to then sort of go back and look at the board and see how it all works, rather than having all of these bits of paper everywhere. Right, so the next step is to do this with them 2 lines and just go through and make sure I'm happy with them. And then start a little bit on Act 3. So I'm going to give you a nice sort of speeded up, action-y sequence now of me doing just that.